All right, let's move on. Next up is God, I can't think of any. 2022's sleeper team of the year at the start of the season, according to one person.
Bruh, you are so out there.
What do you mean out there? I
Sleeper
just handed it to you. What do you mean?
sleeper team of the year.
Yeah, according to one host.
Uh Dude, I have no idea.
Oh my
Houston?
God. Chicago Fire.
That was last year.
That's why I said 2022. Do you listen?
You're
Do
so
you?
confusing.
You just don't listen. Anyway, the Chicago Fire are 2-3-1 this season, currently sitting in sixth place in the East. Top player for me, I've got Chris Mueller.
Me too.
Cool. Wow, we've had a lot of the same in a row.
It's because you love to
Most
copy me.
most impressive player. We might have the same one on this as well.
I picked out Sequet.
Never mind, we
The
don't have the same.
Yeah, I figured I tried to go different, but sorry, allegedly, because there's definitely no video evidence or post evidence that you slated this transfer like hard, and he is
Give him
not
like a
only
C.
coming.
Let's not overplay this.
You have
Bladed it
not
hard.
rated it all, and we talked about how that right back spot needed to get younger and or rather older and more experienced, but not too old. Because Bornstein was too old, and who was the guy behind him? Um,
Was it
I don't
Reynolds?
remember. Yeah, it might have been. Was too young and wasn't ready. So this was a really good experienced player with a lot of help, and he's been very, very good at getting service from that right hand side into one Kai Kamara for lots of finishes. So, um, yeah, absolutely love it.
All right. Well, you have just I'm you know what actually I'm pulling up the transfer because you're saying a lot of slanderous things about what I said, and I want to make sure that they are or are not correct. Okay, I said a D. That is a bit slanderous, but
Yeah,
listen, we're 6 games into the season for Chicago. Let's see how it looks at the end of the season. I have gone for Kai Kamara as my most impressive player. This guy is 38 years old. He's played on like 10 different teams in this league, and every single time he plays, he scores goals. He has 3 goals for Chicago so far this year. I just you literally you cannot count on him to not score goals. I know that's kind of a weird way to put it, but it's just like if he's in your team, he's going to score goals. This guy is just he's legitimately one of the best strikers in MLS history.
I don't disagree, but I also kind of expected that out of him because he's the goat.
Yeah, but I mean he's
So
38.
I'm by comparison, I'm less impressed with him than I am with Saquon. But I think who we can both equally say that we are least impressed by at the moment is Chris Brady.
I did not go with Chris Brady.
Well, then you don't know ball, my friend. Chris Brady is a young, promising goalkeeper in the Chicago Fire ranks. Emphasis on young. Some of the goals that he has conceded, while not necessarily leading to losses or loss of points, has really, I mean, really hurt the trust that the team has in him. The goal that he let up in Minnesota's loss last week, or the win over Minnesota, I should phrase that, was a 35-yard shot that went straight through his hands, and you saw every one of their defenders go, like, not again. Here we go. You know, I get it. He's young, he's promising, and I think he's got a great future ahead of him. But right now, he's been very very not impressive.
You're focusing too much on 2 errors. He was 18 years old when he started this season, and he is played, I think, all but 1 week for them, and they're in sixth place in the standings. And that is just incredibly harsh. I don't know how high your expectations were for him, but they must have been like through the roof.
Gaga Slanina. That's the bar. You want to be a young goalkeeper, especially in Chicago, that's the bar. It's like any goalkeeper that comes into Red Bull. The bar is Luis Robles. You don't get to underachieve and be like, oh, it's okay. Like nobody will ever be Luis. There is a bar, there's a standard. You need to hit that standard. And again, I'm not saying his career is over. I'm saying there's a lot of work for him to go before he's the guy.
My pick was your favorite player, Casper Shabilko.
Wow, you're just a hater.
Casper has. I really do hate this because I remember listening to Julian and Fabian's podcast, and they talked about how like great of a person Casper Shabilko is. So this honestly makes me feel really conflicted about saying this, but he's got 300, just about 330 minutes so far this season. He's got 1 goal, 1 assist, and according to Who Scored, he's been played at striker as opposed to last year where, like you said, he was played on the wing. But his time in Chicago has not led to many goals. He has 6 goals in all of his time in Chicago so far. I mean, he's supposed to be a striker. I know they played him a bit out of position, but he's supposed to be a striker and score goals for this team. And he did it in Philly. And since he's been in Chicago, it's been disappointing. And it's been below what I would expect for him.
Here's what I'll say is he's always played as a striker. The system that they play brings him out wide. It's if you watch Red Bull under Struber, Van Zier was doing that a lot in his early times where you'd think he's a striker, a hold up guy, let him get the ball or run in behind, but he drifts really far out wide and isn't in the box for a lot of the way that the game plays, which isn't great to personally if you have a striker like that. To me, I don't love it.
He should. I feel like he should still be able to find chances to score more than he has. But anyway, let's move on. Over or underachieving. I had Chicago finishing 15th, dead last in the East. So it's fair to say they are overachieving what I had expected for them.
I'm going to pretend we're in 2022 and say I've got it straight on because for whatever reason, my predictions take 2 years. My predictions have the Ben Bayer aging limit on it where you can't be right or good in your first season. You have to wait a full year before you're good. No, they're overachieving on my pick too. So
good.
That's another one I let you talk me out of.
Good. I'm glad. My question for you, is Chicago a legit playoff team?
Don't do that to me. Chicago to
am
the
I
y'all.
asking 2023 Andrew or 2022 Andrew?
Chicago to the y'all. So here's the thing. I've got nothing against Chicago. I want Chicago to be good again because MLS is good when the original MLS teams are good. So I want Chicago to be good again. That being said, no. I think they're riding high. I think they are grinding out lucky results. They have blown like 3 2-goal leads in 7. Now, they didn't lose all of those games, but they did lose their lead in those games. That's not the make for a playoff team. So,
yeah, I'm in agreement with you.
of course you are.
They're sitting in 6th right now, but they are only 3 points off of 12th. They can easily lose form and fall down the standings quickly. And I just don't. Clearly, I don't see what they have on paper because I put them at 15th in my predictions. But yeah, I don't see a strong team on paper. And Chris Brady is not at Gaga Slanina level, as we previously discussed. But so I don't see Chicago being able to recreate the defensive abilities that they brought to the table last year. So I kind of see them dipping a bit lower than they did last year. So yeah, I will say also not a playoff team in my opinion.